Okay, so this is the tutorial for setting up a multiplayer on Solasta or just any other game you want to do. As you can see, the multiplayer that we put up for our Solasta run. So the first thing you're going to see here is I'm on the Parsec web page, and we'll put a link in the video below. So the first thing you want to do is, of course, download the app of Parsec, which you'll then open up there. So you'll need to make an account so you can then log in. And then the second thing you'll need to do is you need to connect with your friends. So what you see here is your ID, and so you can use either half of this to find your friends, and then you reach out and you connect with them. Once you have done that, then they will then connect to your computer. So you can see the waitlist list here. I click accept. Now the next important thing is you need to give them access to keyboard and mouse. I usually turn gamepad off, but you can kind of go either way. So once you've connected them keyboard and mouse, they can then play there. Now a few other things, depending on how well you know the people you're playing with, you can limit what they can access on your computer. So if I turn this on, see I've got Solasta here, and I can limit them to only having any control when Solastas is at the front. And then if I tab out to any other screen, they can't control anything on my screen there. So again, just depends on how well you know the people you're playing with. You can limit their access here. So the first couple times we played, when we played with just two people, we didn't have any really latency issues at all. But when we upped to 3 and even 4, we started to encounter some problems. And that was something we had to research on how to deal with that. So a couple things that were recommended to us is that they said set this just one lower than yours. The max is 50, so we went with 45. The biggest thing that fixed our connection problems was just switching from the host being using Wi-Fi to being hardlined in. That was the biggest improvement for us. But they also recommended reducing the frames per second here as a way to kind of improve latency issues as well. And then within the game, they had recommended that we turn the graphics down, and that could also help with any latency issues. But once we had switched to the hardline, we were able to run full graphics on the game. We didn't experiment too much with increasing the FPS beyond 60, but like I said, those really cleaned up the issues. And as one guy put it, he says, "This is like playing a computer on my. It's like I'm playing on my computer, not being hosted by you." Like it was really a big jump in performance just going to that hard line. And so at that point, it was more about just, people recognizing that all three of us controlled the keyboard, all three of us controlled the mouse, and you just kind of had to, take turns, as they put it, it's a hot seat multiplayer, as opposed to each of us being able to control our guys individually as we played the game. So yeah, that is how we set it up. We're going to be doing some more multiplayer runs in games that typically don't have it, like Pathfinder and XCOM, and a few others, maybe even just the massively modded Jagged Alliance, just to show people it can be done. And as we say on the floor, all of this is more fun together. So hope this video was helpful in getting you set up.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to The Flore, fantasy and lore from the ground up. My name's Eli.
I'm Joe Bondowski.
And I'm Aaron.
We do in-depth lore podcasts for games, movies, TV shows, and different worlds of mythology in our culture.
One of us does an in-depth research on our topic. One of us is familiar with the topic.
And one of us knows nothing. So the right questions will always be asked and will be addressed for